In this video, let's have a look at how do you install Docker on a CentOS 7.5 machine. Now, for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to use a CentOS DigitalOcean droplet. Droplet is nothing but just a virtual machine on DigitalOcean. So I'm selecting the 6 vCPUs version. I have selected location as my Bangalore city where I am right now and the SH key, and I've given the host name CentOS Docker tutorial. So we'll give it a few seconds for it to complete creation of the DigitalOcean. Meanwhile, let's have a look at our slide. So these are the steps we'll be doing. We'll be installing using the repository instructions on Docker documentation, and we'll be following the instructions given on the documentation. And once the installation is done, we'll go ahead and test drive it just to see if it's working as we expected. Now I have selected CentOS 7.5 because if I go to CentOS website, this is the most recent I see 7 and then 5, the minor release zero point 0.5, and it's supported till 30th June 2024. So we are fairly covered over there. Now this is the link. While the link is there in the presentation, to actually come at it, all I did is install Docker on CentOS, and I got the Docker installation link for CentOS, and I went down to install using the repository option. So before you install using the repository, if you already have a CentOS installation, uh, unlike me, if you didn't create a new machine altogether, instead if you are using a CentOS installation which already existed, I would strongly suggest you first remove any previous installations just to have a clean machine to install on it. And once you have done that, then you should go ahead and follow the instructions which are given in this tutorial. So I'll copy this command, and actually I'll first copy the IP address here and I'll go into the machine. Let me zoom in. Alright, so we are in the machine. So if I over here see, it is CentOS 7, CentOS Linux release 7.5.1804, exactly what we saw over here, 751804. So we are inside CentOS machine now. Now let's copy the commands and start following the instructions. So it will install required packages which are required for Docker CE to run. Docker CE stands for Docker Community Edition, by the way. So let's wait for this to finish. Alright, that's done. Now let's go ahead and run the yum config manager. Yum is the package manager for CentOS, and config manager is the way to configure the package manager. With this command, we are saying that, hey yum, in your configurations, add my Docker repository so that I can fetch packages from that particular repository. So I'll go ahead and run this command, which is saved. It says repository saved to this particular file, which is all good. Now this step is optional. If you want to enable edge or test version of Docker, you could go ahead and do this. We are only using the stable version, and hence we'll just stay with this. So once this is done, we'll just go ahead and install Docker C. Alright, it's asking for, is this okay? Yes, no. So I'll just say yes and move on. Is it again asking for yes, no? I'll just say yes. So now it's installing all the dependencies for Docker CE to run. We'll wait for those dependencies to download and install. Let's give it another few seconds. So in this case, even I'm doing the installation for the first time, following the instructions as I'm creating this video. So pardon me if it takes any unplanned additional time. Alright, that's close to done, and that's done. Okay, great. So now we have Docker CE installed. It gives you additional instructions on installing a previous version of Docker CE. If you want to work with a previous version for some reason, you could go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and first, so this is the command to start Docker engine, but before that, I'll go ahead and actually check if Docker is already running. So Docker isn't running at the moment. The only command that is running which has Docker in it is the grep command. Now I'll run Docker using this command, systemctl start Docker. So no output, which means exit status 0, and it worked as expected. Now if I again run the psaux command, Docker daemon and Docker container daemon are running as expected. So now let's do a test drive of it. Let's try to run the hello world image. So hello world image ran as expected, hello from Docker, which says your installation appears to be working correctly. So that's it. That's how you install Docker on a CentOS machine, and it should work just as expected on other environments as well, and not just DigitalOcean. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.